Deep breath. Okay. It is now 1 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It is the organizational meeting. We have not elected a chairperson at this time, so I will conduct the meeting until we have. Today, the prayer will be given by Commissioner Heberling and the pledge will be led by Commissioner Block.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the beautiful day you've given us. And Lord, as we come before you this morning, this afternoon, Lord, we just pray and we ask that through this next year, the 2025 year, Lord, I just pray that you would be with each elected official and each person that served our county. We pray, Lord, that you would give us guidance and direction, that we make the right decisions. We also, Lord, we pray for our government at a state level and as our federal government, Lord, as many new faces come along. We just ask also, Lord, that you would guide and direct the leaders of our nation, Lord, and be with them. And Lord, again, we thank you for this opportunity together as elected officials and our community, Lord. And we just again pray that you would guide and direct us through this meeting and throughout the year. We give you the honor and the glory and the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm going to do roll call. District 1, Commissioner John Block.
Present.
District 2, Commissioner Roger Ballard.
Present.
District 3, Commissioner Gary Heberling.
Here.
District 4, Commissioner Bill Sarkella.
Here.
District 5, Commissioner Christine Lee. Present. District 6, Commissioner Evans Ehart is absent. And District 7, Commissioner John Moody.
Here.
All right. The first order of business is NFA 001-25. That is the adoption of the bylaws and rules of procedure and the 2025 meeting schedule. Do I have a motion to adopt the bylaws and the meeting schedule?
Make that motion.
Support.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Lee and it is seconded by Commissioner Ballard. Any discussion regarding the bylaws for the meeting schedule? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. All right, our next order of business is the method of election of the chairperson. 4.11 of the Board of Commissioners bylaws requires the board to decide on the method of electing a chairperson by either a voice majority vote with a roll call or by a written secret ballot, which requires a majority. Do I have a motion regarding the method, the preferred method?
So move to use the voice method.
All right.
Support.
So motioned by Commissioner Sarkella and supported by Commissioner Lee that we are going to use the voice method with a roll call. All opposed or all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. All right, now I'd like to open the floor for nominations for chairman.
Ma'am, I'd like to elect John Block as our chairman for 2025.
All right,
I'll
Commissioner
support that.
Heberling places Chairman Commissioner Block into nomination. Are there any other nominations? All right, at this time, I will close nominations. Do I have a motion for a unanimous ballot to be cast for Commissioner Block for the 2025 chairman?
So move.
Support.
All right, Commissioner Ballard motions and Commissioner Lee seconds that a unanimous ballot be cast for Commissioner Block for chairman for 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Excuse me,
Motion?
Leslie, do you not need roll call for that?
Yes, you're correct. So I will do that now that the motion is passed, but so I have that ready. All right, I will go with Commissioner Block first, or Ballard first, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Block,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Heberling,
Yes.
and Commissioner Sarkella.
Yes.
Okay. With that roll call, I congratulate you, Chairman Block. And I will now turn the gavel over to you. So you're very welcome.
I appreciate everyone's support.
Congratulations.
And I get to stay nice and busy like I have been. But
Yeah,
Very good.
than me.
I can relate.
no, it does mean a lot to me that everybody supports me in this role, and I try to give my very best in it. I certainly will continue to do that and try to have another great year this year. So nice, efficient meetings and all the work that goes in behind the scenes. With that said, I would like to move on to the election of a vice chairman. So I'm going to open nominations for vice chair position. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Roger Ballard.
Okay.
Vice Chair.
I have a nomination from Commissioner Moody. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we have Roger Ballard.
Supported.
Okay, we have motion and support then for Roger as the vice chairman, and there are no other nominations, so entertain. Well, we have the nomination, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a voice vote. So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Congratulations, Roger.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Will we need to do a roll call on that as well?
I
Or
don't
just going with the
believe-
motion?
I think it's just the chair position requires
Okay.
roll call. And Roger, I might actually miss a meeting this year, so you,
Hey,
we'll have to coordinate. So
no more than 3.
At this time, we've got a vice chair, so we're going to move on, and I am going to appoint Commissioner Sarkella to be chairperson of the Finance and Administration Committee, as long as you accept that role.
I do.
Okay, thank you. We have that completed. So now we are going to move on to the adoption of our agenda. As you will see on the green colored sheet of paper, we have 3 additions to today's agenda, which I will explain in detail when we get to those. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda with the 3 amendments.
Make that motion.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein, support from Commissioner Ballard to adopt the agenda with 3 add-on motions. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve our meeting minutes from December 17th.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Moody to adopt our meeting minutes from December 13th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. You would have received your correspondence from Jody for email the other day. So we're going to move into commissioner reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Moody.
Just have one. I went to Melbourne last night. They're looking at a couple of different zoning variances they need to do. They're still looking at their dog breed, ban ordinance. Kind of just waiting right now to see what the state's doing, because it's looking like the state's gonna make some kind of a ban on. So they're waiting to see what they do before they do make their final decision. Just discuss their master plan a little bit, and then they're gonna have a work date next meeting after the meeting, and they just did their fee schedule. That's it.
Okay, thank you, John. I myself am going to the village of Forestville tomorrow to talk to them about ambulance services up in that part of the county. That's all I have. Christine?
I was at Elk Township and Pet Council. They both met on the same night because of Christmas. So the meeting was moved, one of them was moved. At the Pet Council, they hand out a couple of awards to some citizens and stuff. And I had to leave that meeting early. But then I shoot over to Elk Township and they talked about a land split 3 ways. They had to check this out if they could do that. They need to appoint somebody to the library board. And the library has been doing really well, that they've been getting more members and books checking out and doing story time and different things and coordinating stuff with the school. The fire truck is losing antifreeze. So every time they think they got it fixed, it's been another monkey in the wrench. And and wind turbines, they were talking about a company that's coming into Elk Township and they were warning about, because they were talking about this one farm that didn't want it to run through their property and that they would have to go out and around and back in type thing. But that was just the very beginning talks of it. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Bill?
Port Sanilac approved their quarterly newsletter.
And if you drove through town at all, they had a Parks and Rec was really positive with some festival lights work that they did for their Christmas displays. Their water projects moving forward, hookup should be coming soon. And then the sheriff department was there giving their report as well. And then Carsonville, it's going to have a new DPW employee updating their zoning and continuing work on their water project. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Gary?
Last night I attended the Sandusky City Council. And in that meeting, there was discussed parking on Lexington Street over here on the curbside. They don't let people park in there, and it I guess by law, that's the way it should be. And there was also some business owners and constituents, same two people, complained that the wife that owned the business, she parks there late at night and she's afraid to have to walk a couple blocks from their business because at night she's fearful of that. So they asked if the city council could find a way to free up some of the parking behind Sheldon's and across the street. Also, city manager noted that they were notified by Tractor Supply that that Tractor Supply wants to put in a possible new greenhouse, add a greenhouse to their business there. Also, the Custer Township that I attended later last night, they reviewed and discussed the brine contract for 2025. Dave Miller gave the fire report, and then Doug Gorange gave a report on the ongoing blight issue in the township they've been dealing with. And also Dave mentioned that their master plan for the township is near completion, and we talked about that would have to come through our council, planning council. So we're probably going to see that in the near future. Nancy Rich, the clerk for Custer Township, and the board put together and organized the 2025 meetings. And just a note of interest, their annual budget meeting for the township is going to be held on March 3rd at 5 p.m. And then following that with their regular meeting. Tonight they have Watertown Township meeting and a County Parks Board meeting. And talking to Lisa Kenny, which is head of the Sandusky Chamber of Commerce. And I'm not sure if I get the wording right, but they're putting together a website for the county for inland restaurants and things. When I say inland, not just Port Sand like Lexington, and the business will be able to advertise in there. And so it's a good thing for our county. So she could probably give more detail, but I'm not up on everything that's doing. So.
That'd be a good asset because there are organizations that kind of highlight the lakeshore already, and nobody's highlighting what's in.
Right.
So that's
That's
great.
what they want to do. They want to move it in.
Yeah.
So, into my report.
Thank you, Gary. Roger?
To start off the year, I was unable to attend the Argyle meeting last Thursday. I did talk with their via email, their supervisor. Didn't really miss anything, just they approved bills and didn't have any other business. Last night I attended the City of Marlette. They approved the committee reports for 2025. And they also approved the wages and the start date for the new police chief, Chris Berriger. Brian McGinnis is retiring after many years over there. So Chris will be taking over on March 1st. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Roger. I appreciate everyone's commissioner reports. Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Yeah, the focus of my administrative report, I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on 3 grants that we have hanging out there. I know you guys have dealt with these in a variety of ways, but I just wanted to give an update. So we've got our chill grant, which we were awarded over $400,000. Actually, total it was $500,000, but some of that was administrative fees. We contracted with HDC, and that's for the rehabbing of some homes in the county. Currently, we're getting, we have the contract signed by HDC that's been submitted to MISTA, and we're just looking to kind of get all the criteria and the evaluation and everything put together on that, and then that'll be moving forward. So nothing's actually been done on that one yet as far as any grant dollars being dispersed. MEDC, we've got some money. Tim's here from PEC, the village manager from PEC, Tim Hayden, if you guys aren't aware. We have gotten all the studies done, and it's a slow process, but we are moving in the right direction. to begin to leverage those dollars to allow work to begin. At this point, it may be spring sometime when that project will begin, but those dollars will be utilized to improve and make increased accessibility in Peck for their village park. So, and then the last thing is we do have a land bank grant where we received money for the demo of the two homes in Sandusky, where they wanted to create some parking area, the Applegate House, there's a house in Lexington, and then there's a rehab project in Brown City. And those are kind of going through in the order I told you. That's the order those are going to be tackled. At this point, I think we're just waiting for some documents from Sandusky, and then everything will be able to hopefully move forward. The deadline for those demos on those houses when it was put out for RFP was March. So we're nearing that point. So as long as we get everything from Sandusky, we hopefully we'll be able to move forward soon. And then Applegate will follow in Lexington, and then Brown City after that. So
Very good.
yeah, that's where we're at on those things. A lot of things hanging out there, but as I think you guys are aware, grant dollars move slow and there's a lot of steps and a lot of signatures and meetings and public meetings and hearings, and we've experienced all of those. So I think we'll be able to move forward here in the next 6 months on most of those things.
Very good. Appreciate all your efforts in coordinating that stuff, Nathan. It's nice to see some of those dollars that have been out there actually getting put to use in the community. So great work. Was that the end of your report?
That's the end of that's all I have.
Okay. Is there any questions for Nathan? Seeing none, we'll move on. I'm going to call for public comments. Are there any public comments today? Seeing none. That is going to take us into appointments to standing committees. This is our organizational meeting, so there are no shortage of appointments to be made. The first one is going to be the Appeals Board of Construction. I need a motion to appoint Jeremy Bender, Orm Campbell, Norm Blank, Eric Merriman, and Jerome Ford for a 2-year term expiring 12/31 of 26.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Moody, support from Commissioner Sarkella to make those appointments. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to Appeals Board for Soil Erosion. I need a motion to appoint John Bowski, Rick Ball, Robert Patalo, and Rob Falls for a 2-year term expiring 12/31 of 2026.
I make that motion. Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein, supported by Commissioner Ballard. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to Board of Public Works. I need a motion to appoint Ron Gerstenberger as the Road Commission representative for a 3-year term expiring 12/31 of 27.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, support from Commissioner Sarkella to appoint Ron Gerstenberger. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to Central Dispatch Advisory Board. I need a motion to appoint Paul Rich, Lieutenant McComb, Mark Davidson, Charles Bush, Steve Bales, Leah Lentz, Ron Buckmaster, Don Cubic, and Greg Holman for a 2-year term expiring 12/31 of 26.
Make that motion.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein, supported by Commissioner Moody to make those appointments. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to the Drug Task Force Board. A motion to appoint Larry Sheldon as the Police Chief Association representative for a 1-year term expiring 12/31 of 25.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, supported by Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion?
Larry is the police chief for Lexington. Somebody asked her earlier. So
Okay. There was somebody else filling that role previous?
Brett Lester
From
Sandusky
Sandusky.
chief.
Okay.
That's something they try to rotate out every so often.
Okay.
Used to be every year, but some of them can't quite make meetings. So
Gotcha. Clerk Hilgendorf, I lost my place. Have we called for a vote
You
yet?
have not.
Okay. Is there any further discussion related to the appointment of Larry Sheldon? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to Information Technology Planning Committee. I need a motion to appoint Dawn Cubitt, Tracy Franzel, Leslie Hill, Nathan Smith, Nancy Rich, and Nathan Roski for a one-year term expiring 12/31 of 25.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, supported by Commissioner Moody to make those appointments. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to LEPC Committee Emergency Management Department. Need a motion to appoint Greg Hillman, Paul Rich, Steve Bales, Wayne Zander, Lyle Raymer, Travis Blott, Troy Sweet, Tracy Hoff, Mark Schweitzer, Ernie Kilgus, Lyle Martin,
Keith.
Keith Radke, Dan Corty,
Corey.
Cordy, Scott Vogel, Dan Bush, Doug Moran, Don Priest II, and Todd Hillman for a one-year term expiring 12/31 of 25.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard. I have support from Commissioner Lee to make those appointments. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to soil erosion and sedimentation control. I need a motion to appoint Joe Allen, Maureen Kirkpatrick, John Bowski, Bryant Wilkie, Caitlin Soul, Rob Falls, Doug Sweet, and Nathan Roski for a two-year term expiring 12/31 of 26.
I make that motion.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlin, supported by Commissioner Ballard. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. That's going to conclude board appointments. We are now going to move into county commission chair appointments. I have a list for each one of you with these appointments. These are largely the same as they were last year. There was movement on the LEPC committee, emergency management department, but that movement was done last year. So the Airport Zoning Board of Appeals will be myself. The Appeals Board Soil Erosion will be Commissioner Ballard. Board of Public Works will be Commissioner Sarkella and Commissioner Ehart. The BPW authorized representatives will be Trudy Bowers and Doug Sweet. The Budget Committee will be myself, Commissioner Ballard, Commissioner Heberlin, Commissioner Sarkella, Commissioner Lee, Commissioner Ehart, Commissioner Moody, Administrator Roski, Christy Bender, and Trudy Bowers. The Buildings and Grounds Maintenance Committee will be Bill Sarkella and Gary Heberlin. The Central Dispatch Advisory Board will be Commissioner Moody. The Child Abuse Prevention will be Commissioner Lee. Community Collaborative will be Commissioner Ehart. Community Mental Health and Great Start Collaborative will be Commissioner Ballard. Council on Aging will be Commissioner Lee. DHHS and MCF will be Commissioner Moody. The Drug Task Force Board will be Commissioner Ballard. The FOIA Coordinator will be Dodie Morris. The FOIA Coordinator for the Sheriff will be Jay Ratcliffe. The GST, which is Genesee Shiawassee Thumb Meets, is going to be Commissioner Ballard and Commissioner Moody. The Board of Health will be Commissioner Lee. Human Development Commission will be Commissioner Ehart. The Information Technology Planning Committee will be myself and Commissioner Sarkella. Landfill Operations and Recycling Advisory Board will be Commissioner Sarkella. The LAPC Community Emergency Management Department will be Commissioner Moody. Medical Control Board will be Commissioner Ehart. Negotiation Team will be myself and Commissioner Lee. And we are negotiating with the unions this year. Parks and Recreation Committee will be Commissioner Ballard and Commissioner Heberlin. The Pension Plan Board will be Commissioner Sarkella. The Personnel Committee will be myself and Commissioner Heberlin. The Planning Commission will be myself and Commissioner Heberlin. The Policy Review Committee will be myself and Commissioner Moody. The Safe Partnership Millage Board will be myself. The Salmon Transportation Board will be Commissioner Sarkella. The Soil Erosion and Sedimentation Control will be Commissioner Ballard. And the Thumb Regional Community Corrections will be Commissioner Moody. And for anybody in the public who heard all that, that's all the fun that a county commissioner gets to have on top of all this. So if anybody's ever interested in the future, that's what it's like. That is going to conclude. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about any of that? Everybody's good? Okay. So now we are going to move on. These are appointments that each individual commissioner has made to these boards from your specific districts. I'm not going to name all these off. You guys know exactly who these people are as you put them there. So we are going to move on. I see no need for general resolutions. So we're going to dive into committee reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Ballard.
Okay, after the Michigan Works meeting that I reported on last meeting, they did send out a list of recipients of the Michigan Works Going Pro Talent Fund Cycle 1 grants. The next cycle of applications will begin in the spring. What this fund does is it awards or it goes to employers to assist in training, developing, and retaining current and newly hired employees. Training funded by the talent fund must be short-term and fill a demonstrated talent need experienced by the employer. Training must lead to a credential or certification for a skill that is transferable and recognized by the industry. This, in my opinion, is underutilized in St. Louis County, but we did have 4 recipients this year. One was Aspire Rural Health System in Marlette. They got $39,500. Johnson Bridge here in Sandusky got $15,840. Mackenzie Health System got $2,000. And Midwest Rubber in Deckerville got $16,430. So it's a pretty good resource for companies to use. All they have to do is get a hold of Michigan Works and they will guide them through the process of applying for those grants. I'm not sure what the limit is on those. Cap and Tree Service out of Cass City. I know they received $448,000 in grant funds to train employees. So there's good money out there. But again, the end result has to be a certification or something for one of their positions.
So say like Jensen Bridge wanted to train some people on forklift use. That might be an allowable use because the person is then a certified forklift driver at the end of it.
Right, or CAD engineering, whatever, anything like that. But
So considering that that's underutilized in the county, do you think that's just due to a lack of employers and companies knowing that that's a resource that's available to them?
that, or if they know they're not seeking it out, but I think a combination of both.
Okay.
I shared the email that I got with all of you, and I also sent it to Lisa Kenny. She's got her feet into a lot of different things with businesses, and I thought she'd be a good one to help get that word out. Parks, we meet tonight. I've been really busy with parks. Evergreen, I think, came to a screeching halt last week. They were actually pouring concrete New Year's Eve. But I think this weather recently has kind of put a stop to that. But they did get all of the concrete poured around the lower amenities that we've had, the playground and the kayak launch. I was up there, I think it was right after Christmas. Part of the ramp for the kayak launch was underwater, which was expected. But yeah, hopefully they got enough done. They can get a good jump on it in the spring when weather breaks. We did get partial reimbursement on that project from the DNR right before Christmas. Nice Christmas gift. Just a little over $102,000. So we have another $198,000 coming once we get this project completed. The house project over in Lexington is kind of slowed down over the holidays. There were people out there yesterday working. I'm gonna have to get on somebody to get things moving. I think if they were in there for a couple of weeks, they got it done. So I'll be working on that tomorrow. I think that's about it. Our reservation started. Leslie can relate to this. We opened up reservations at 8 a.m. on January 2nd. In the past, we've opened them up at midnight, which is good for the people that want to stay up at midnight and get on the computer, but not everybody does that or wants to be up. So we started at 8 a.m. on the 2nd. I think you were the first person I heard from, as I was on my computer and having a coffee and kind of, getting started. And
You received the panic.
but all hell broke loose. The reservation system was totally down. You couldn't even find a link on the website. I don't know how that happened to hit the book now button. It was not there. I started with contacting our web people and that was fixed very quickly. Our reservation company that we use, apparently they're in Texas. They decided to do some upgrades on the system. And by 9:30, everything was taken care of. So it actually probably close to 9. So it wasn't horrible, but hopefully it doesn't happen again next year. Our parks, I was out at Forester at noon that day. They had taken in $85,000. Evergreen for the whole day took in $88,000, and Lexington took in just under $23,000, which was just about double what they did last year on the first day. So people still want to camp and they get pretty enthusiastic when they can't get in. I asked her if she'd do me a favor next year. I said, take your blood pressure before you get started. And then a couple hours after you get done, take it again. I just want to see how healthy this is.
I
So,
think they're exciting, Roger, because I think you continue to give them such a good experience out at these parks.
we try, we have good staff at our parks. Every time we add a major amenity, it seems like we gain more campers and they're getting busier through the week. So I think we're gonna see huge strides in Evergreen once this putt-putt golf's in and all the other amenities are done and being utilized. So
It'll become quite a destination at that point.
that's been my goal, to make all of our parks a destination.
Because really, I mean, the,
Leslie, you don't want.
I don't want
Sorry,
it.
yeah, everybody wants to be their little secret. Oh, sorry, folks, but the secret though. We're gonna have some more action on our Lexington project tonight. That project, once we added engineering in, is just over $1 million. So the grant for that, should we be successful, which I have a good feeling we will be. That grant is 400,000. They have increased that from 300 to 400 effective this year. So that involves a walking trail, dog run area, 2 cabins that'll be handicap accessible, another boardwalk with an observation deck going down overlooking the lake on the north side of the park. That's been a huge hit on the south side. I was out there in October and there was a couple just sitting on the bench. And I struck up a conversation and they said, we never came to this park until this was put in. And now it's several times a week they go out there and have a coffee and watch the water. So, and there's a lot of people utilizing that. So looking forward, I don't look forward to the project, but I look forward to getting it going. And
Isn't the bridge part of that as well?
yes, the bridge crossing the ravine, it's outdated. And if we're not successful in the grant, that will be a project that we will be doing. And most likely the cabins and the pathways that connect them, because they'll generate revenue, should be good revenue there. So that's all I have.
okay, very good. Good report, Roger. Thank you. Gary?
Yeah, my report won't be near as long as,
Sorry.
as Roger's. Good,
I get a little windy on parks.
good report, good report. Okay. Today, well, as Roger already mentioned, we have a Parks and Board Recreation meeting tonight. And then at 11 o'clock this morning, myself, Commissioner Ballard, Nathan and Jody met as the Personnel Committee meeting, and we authorized 2 things, and we're going to talk about them in our add-ons today. One was to authorize and post and fill the office manager position in the prosecutor's office. And the second was to post and fill a foreclosure position in the treasurer's office. And I don't know if you want to expand on that when it gets to you.
I can expand on it a little bit.
No. End of my report.
Good. Thank you, Gary.
I was not at that meeting. They won't let me on that committee.
Wonder why.
I just don't know.
Bill?
Transportation was the only committee meeting I had. Glad to report they took first place in the Lady Parade as a nonprofit and also received the mayor's trophy.
Nice.
And one of the buses we've been talking about for quite a while, the pilot bus, should potentially be here this month. We're looking forward to that. And MDOT's reduced some funding, and so we're talking about dollars as well. And like everybody else, we're going to be negotiating for employee contracts. And kind of related to transportation, I'm glad to report that today's DNR report for deer harvested in Sanilac County is 8,939. So hopefully you won't be running into as many deer out there when you're driving around. I know we're leading the state as far as numbers, so that's pretty impressive. And the late season's still going on through the end of the month. So there might be.
Fortunately, we're probably leading the state in car deer accidents too.
Well, I didn't look that part up. Somebody else especially. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate the deer harvest numbers too. If could you maintain that for us until this next season's over with?
Yes.
All right.
I'm trying to put some numbers in there too, as I am personally, but Not with a vehicle, the other one.
14 of them were in my side yard last night in the city of Marla. Tearing up,
Your side yard's not an average side yard.
Yeah.
they were tearing up my hill, grass.
Very good. Thank you for your report, Bill. Christine?
Well, to continue on the deer, I got a text from the sheriff this morning that 31 more deer were picked up yesterday for a total of 174 this fall. And the negotiation team met and Nathan already talked about it a little bit. And if you want to add, that's all I have.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Christine.
I have a question. How does that compare to the rest of the state on deer picked up by the jail crew?
I have no idea.
No stats available?
I don't think there's any other
I don't think
that
so.
does it.
Really?
Mm-mm. I don't think there's any other that does it.
Well,
That I knew of when I was there at the sheriff's.
of course, not every county's even got a work crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just like to wait until it's a little colder so they aren't as dramatic.
Yeah, yeah. They're probably a little easier to pick up when they're stiff too.
This week could be a good week for us.
Get them while they're froze, but they're not buried in the snowdrift yet. Very good. So yes, as Commissioner Heberlein stated earlier today, we held a personnel committee meeting. You will see these as add-ons. We don't like to ram stuff through, but you know, with the changeover in the offices there and some people leaving, we wanted to make sure that these departments had an opportunity to post these. So we got them added to today's agenda. You'll see those under our new business. And then also the Christmas party for the courthouse got canceled on the day it was supposed to be on the 20th due to weather. So that's also on here to be redone for January 23rd, 2025 from 11:30 to 1:30. So that's what's up with our additional motions. Also, Christine and I did meet with Nathan and the unions for our first meeting with contract negotiations, and I really got to give it to Administrator Roski. He's already put a lot of legwork and lead thought into dealing with that issue. And I think the meeting went excellent because you've done that. And so we look forward to getting back with them and getting that finalized. And as we all know, what we do with the first union is the blueprint that we then utilize with everybody else because we'll be negotiating with other unions throughout the year. So that is all I have for committee reports. Commissioner Moody?
I have no report. I have two at the end, the last week of the month.
Okay. Very good. I appreciate everyone's committee reports. So we are going to move on and there is no need for unfinished business. So that's going to move us directly into new business today. And today we are going to start out with FA 001-25 approval of current claims.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims for 2024 identified on the accounts payable report dated December 30th, 2024 for the general bank accounts in the amount of $315,085.69.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Vice Chairman Ballard. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 002-25, authorization to purchase a vehicle for emergency management.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the purchase of a 2017 Ford Explorer from the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office at a cost of $10,000 for the purpose of the daily and after-hours work of the Emergency Management Director with funding from Motor Pool.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there any discussion?
Does this need immediate approval?
I don't believe so.
No.
We're not in any rush to do it.
Okay.
We're probably waiting on equipment and radios and stuff that we'll have to deal with as well as we transfer that. So any further discussion related to FA 002-25? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 003-25, authorization to purchase vehicle for the Sheriff's Office.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorize the Sheriff's Office to purchase 2025 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor from Cole Ford Lincoln of Coldwater, Michigan at a cost not to exceed $53,895 with funding from the commissary fund for immediate approval.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Moody. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 004-25, award and authorization of bid for computer workstations and software for the prosecutor's office.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes purchase of 7 Dell computers at $1,075.07 each and monitors at $161.87 each, and office license from CDWG at $350 each, for a total cost not to exceed $11,108.58, with funding from Technology Information System for the purpose of meeting the hardware requirements for the carpal prosecutor case management software mitigation mandated by the state for immediate approval.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkalis, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 005-25, authorization to post and fill maintenance supervisor position.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes posting and filling of the drain maintenance supervisor position at pay grade 7, step 1 for immediate approval.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkalis, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there any discussion?
I might add that, that has to be filled because Greg Coleman took on the emergency director,
Yep.
which was a good move and it hurt Doug. So,
Yeah, we stole a good one from him, didn't we?
yeah, we did.
Yeah, Doug doesn't like you guys.
Any further discussion related to FA 005-25? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 006-25, adoption of memorandum of understanding, police dispatch.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby adopts a memorandum of understanding between the County of Santa Clara and the Police Officer Labor Council dispatch for the purpose of replacing the pay grade 6 scale with pay grade 7 within the contract effective 1/1/2025 for immediate approval.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkalis, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are now going to move to the green colored sheet. And we are going to start out with FA 196-24, authorization of courthouse closures.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes closure of the courthouse offices on January 23rd, 2025 from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. for the purpose of conducting the annual employee Christmas party.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkalis, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to NFA 002-25, authorization to post and fill office manager position, prosecutor's office.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the prosecutor to post and fill the office manager position at pay grade 8 for immediate approval and forward to the full board on 1/21.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkalis, supported by Commissioner Heberling. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to NFA 003-25, authorization to post and fill tax foreclosure position, treasurer's office.
Santa Clara County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the treasurer to post and fill the tax foreclosure position at pay grade 5, step 1 for immediate approval and forward to the full board on 1/21.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkalis, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there any discussion? And this was the person leaving the treasurer's office is filling a vacancy in mobilization. So it's internal movement, but it does create a need for Trigger to find somebody new. Any further discussion related to NFA 003-25? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. That is going to conclude new business. So I'm going to call for public comments a second time. Is there any public comments today? Seeing none, and there's no need for closed session or approval of closed session minutes. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our BOC meeting today at 1:44.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, support from Commissioner Ballard. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.